Привет, I'm Chuck Olinik, a Ukrainian-American baptized with the name Yaroslav. That makes it real convenient for me in the Society for Creative Anachronism because I already had a name for my persona. Yaroslav, the persistent, although most people call me Yari. And what I've been doing is I've been taking all this research that I had done for decades on Slavic folklore and mythology and Baltic folklore and Balkans folklore and also the history, and putting together videos. And that's in order to share my knowledge of Eastern Europe with people who might want to develop a persona in a society that is Eastern European. And it also helps me refamiliarize myself with material. I didn't think I was going to end up here today talking about the woodpecker and his association with the god Perun. I try to tell these tales of the borderland as appropriate to the season, so I should be talking about the solstice and Kolyada, or perhaps Mara, the goddess of winter, or maybe Dead Moroz, since winter began 7 days ago. So these should be winter tales. There are plenty of those. Or maybe I should be talking about other Slavic lore about woodpeckers. Like, according to some Slavic beliefs, the woodpecker could be an omen of change, particularly linked to transformations. And some of the stories, this captivating creature often acted as a messenger between the spiritual world and the physical world, and bringing guidance or even warnings of upcoming events. I did not think of this as not a messenger talking about change or warning of change, but of actually being an agent of change. In Slavic mythology, the woodpecker was considered the sacred messenger of the thunder god Perun. Okay, quick review of Perun. He's the Slavic god of thunder rolling across the sky in his chariot drawn by a goat. That automatically has people say, see, he's just Thor dressed up in Slavic terms. Look, he's even got an axe that he throws that returns to his hands, just like a wannabe Mjolnir. And the Norse clearly must have brought him to the Slavs. Hey, cultural diffusion. There's similarities, there's also some crucial differences. To me, that comes from a lot of 19th century folklorists who tended to think of the Slavs as primitive compared to, Mediterranean Europe or Northern and Western Europe. And they would say these sorts of things, gotta do air quotes about the primitive stuff, that they would say these sorts of things of folk tales that the Slavs come up with, going, oh, that's clearly got to be something from Ireland, rather than the Slavs coming up with it on their own. So, I've heard this sort of thing before. Or here's another one. Oh, so Perun is basically Zeus. He's head of the pantheon and he throws his lightning bolts. The Slavs must have gotten him from the Greeks. And yeah, Perun is the head of the pantheon that was worshipped in Kyiv. He also was not the head initially and took over, just like Zeus came to rule Mount Olympus. All right. And he's serving as the god of thunder, except, he's also got multiple weapons, which I'm going to get into later, which means he's also a god of war and he's a god of justice. And when we're talking about those multiple weapons and also of justice, Perun doesn't throw his lightning bolts. He shoots them from a bow which bursts into flame. And those lightning bolts are intended to chastise the wicked or purify the earth. I'm throwing in another aside because I can't ever seem to get to any point by a straight line. Wherever lightning strikes the earth, oak trees grow. That would explain, the oak is sacred to Perun. Okay, so I'm filming this in December. The solstice has just passed, Christmas has just passed, so we're in a time of the longest nights and deep winter, all right? And people paid special attention to the sounds of nature. And they're also believing, like, the woodpecker being awake, it's announcing the awakening of divine power. But why the woodpecker? The eagle was sacred to Perun. Why is this bird so special and so important to Perun? The woodpecker's beak striking the tree was seen as a prophetic sign. It was believed that each strike awakens Perun from his winter sleep and thus prepares nature for the beginning of a new cycle. In some accounts, the sound of the woodpecker was associated with the lightning bolts that Perun casts or shoots from his bow, which cleanse the world of negative energy, right? That's chastising the wicked, right? And bringing fertility to the land. So the snowfall in winter becomes the rainfall in spring, and Perun gets on his chariot and he's, shooting his lightning bolts, purifying the earth and bringing fertility to the land, right? There's rain for the crops. And when I heard this, I started to turn this on its head and thinking, maybe the woodpecker wasn't an omen of change. If the woodpecker is supposed to be awakening Perun, maybe he's like the agent of change. He's the alarm clock for Perun. It's like, hello, get up. It's time. You need to get to work. It's another way to look at the mythology. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you stick around. I hope you watch more of the channel. Until the next time, do pobачення.